live to a few other places as well. Hello! If you're watching on LinkedIn, YouTube, Periscope, or Facebook, it's great to have you. I'm going live to the Ecamm network page, but I'm also going live elsewhere as well, so it's fab to see you here. So yeah, let me know where in the world you're from, but I particularly want to know whether you struggle with this whole idea of getting in front of the camera with confidence. If David is here, David Lawrence is still here, I know this is something that you help people with. I'd love to actually speak to you, David. We did meet briefly a few years ago at Social Media Marketing World. David is an amazing actor and he helps people with camera confidence. So yes, I'm going to share my knowledge, my experience. My background is many years ago, I trained as a professional singer. I performed in stages all around the UK and actually around the world. And then I went into the world of tech and social media, and I've been able to mesh the two together. And so I want to kind of share with you some of my ideas and thoughts on how you can get more confident in front of the camera. So, oh, Martin Buckland is here. Awesome to see you, Martin. You can be accredited for giving me confidence, Ian Answer Gray. Martin is an awesome guy. He does speaking all around the world. But yeah, he's just struggled with pressing that button for the first time. And I'm going to share with you why I struggled pressing that button for the first time. But Martin has been doing an amazing job. He's been sharing live videos loads and loads of time. So, right, let's just check on LinkedIn. That's all working. Awesome. Right, so if you just joined, let me know where in the world you're from. Also, let me know if you've struggled with this whole idea of confidence getting in front of the camera. I'm going live to the Ecamm network page, and this is a special edition of my show. This is the Confident Live marketing show. So this is exciting because I broadcast this pretty much every week on my channel, but it also ends up being a podcast. And so if you haven't subscribed to my podcast, if you haven't heard of it, just head on down to iag.me/podcast, and you can find out all about the Confident Live marketing podcast, which, as you could probably guess from the title, it is all about confidence and getting confident with the tech, confident getting in front of the camera, and confident with the marketing as well. Okay, great. We've got some comments here just before I start recording the podcast. I just wanted to bring in a few extra comments here. So Eric is here, says, that's why you have such funny intros. Yes, so if you listen to my podcast, I come up with a silly theme song every single week, most weeks at least. And if you haven't heard the Ecamm Live song, I don't know whether, Katie, if you're watching, whether you've got that, a link to that. But yeah, that was interesting. It was fun. Philip says, I used to work in radio. I just tell them you're only talking to one person. There's a lot of people listening in on the conversation. That's a really good tip, actually. So if you're, just imagine you're talking to one other person, and there just happens to be other people that are listening into that, and you'll probably be okay, which is cool. Fab, right, and Rachel Salisbury's here. The wonderful Rachel Salisbury. It's great to meet you in San Diego. A few weeks back now, I think, when the world was a bit more normal. Yes, it is a strange time that we live in, but obviously at the moment, a lot more people are going live and they're having to grapple with this whole confidence thing. So great to see you, Rachel. Cool, right, well, I think it's time to get on with the recording of the podcast, which is what I do every week. So I'm just finding the button that I need to press. This is the wonderful thing about Ecamm Live. I can press buttons on my Stream Deck and it all works beautifully. Excellent. Right, I'll see you just after this.
This is the Confident Live Marketing Podcast. Confident Live Marketing Podcast with Ian Anderson Gray, helping entrepreneurs level up their impact, authority and profits through the power of live video. Gain confidence in front of the camera, confidence with technology, and confidence with the content and marketing.
Together, we can go live!
Hello, my name's Ian Anderson Gray. This is episode 49, a special bonus edition of the Confident Live Marketing Podcast and Show. I'm streaming live to the Ecamm Network Facebook page, which is really exciting, for a special takeover. So thank you so much if you've joined the show watching on Ecamm Network. Ecamm Live is one of my favorite tools. It's what I use every single week for my live shows. So thank you so much, the wonderful people at Ecamm. It's great to have you. And I've actually, you probably can't see this, if I'm going to jump up and down, you can see I've got my Ecamm hoodie, which is one of my favorite hoodies. Oh, I've been wearing this for about a week. Probably needs washing now, but I'm just so attached to it. So it's great to be here. So if you're listening to the podcast, or if you're listening in the future, the links aren't ready for you if you're watching live yet, but the show notes for this episode will be at iag.me/49. And if you haven't subscribed to the podcast, go to iag.me/podcast and you can subscribe to it in your favorite podcasting app, which I'll be interested. What is your favorite podcasting app? That'd be awesome. So some cool people watching. Oh, this is great. I love this comment from Philip. He says, normal is only a drier setting. Definitely agree. And my good friend Jerome Brood is here. Jerome is a fabulous oboe teacher and professional musician living in the UK. And he's been looking into, well, in fact, he's been doing remote music teaching, teaching one-to-one music lessons for ages. And I'm going to try and get him onto the show to talk about that. So a lot of us are trying to find new ways of teaching. So that's great. Michael is here. Hello, everybody, he says. And I think Ecamm Network has actually Katie's shared the link to the Ecamm Live song, which I was talking about before. Yes, I am indeed wearing the Ecamm Live hoodie. It would be rude not to. So there we go. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about how to become more confident. I'm going to share a little short presentation, but I want this to be interactive. I want you to get involved, ask questions, tell me what your experiences have been. What have been your worst embarrassing moments, but how have you got over that and how have you kept going? Or maybe you're kind of stalking in the background and you're watching this, but you've never actually pressed that go live button because you're scared. Don't worry, you're not the only one. And I want to share some of my experiences with you, which would be great. So keep the comments going. That'd be awesome. Alex Lara said, could we please get to the point? It's been 15 minutes. Yeah, I do it again. I gibber on too much, but I wanted to talk to the lovely live viewers. So, right, let's see if this is going to work. I was fiddling around with this earlier, and I think it's working. So hopefully you can see that presentation in front of you. You would not realize how long it took me to get this working, but now that it's working in Ecamm, it's going to be great. I'm going to be using this. So Hangouts on Air. Why am I sharing Hangouts on Air? Anyone remember Hangouts on Air? Google Hangouts on Air. Bit of a trip down memory lane here. So this was years and years ago, back in 2012, 2013, was the precursor to live video, and this was enabled us to go live, or to go live with a group of people. And there were loads of shows happening at the time, but I was invited onto a Google Hangouts on Air show by some friends of mine, and about 10 minutes before it happened, I was absolutely petrified. This was the first time I'd gone onto a live show. I'd performed around the country as a professional singer, sung in front of hundreds and thousands of people, but when it came to getting in front of the camera, I was so nervous. You could say that I looked a little bit like this. Is anyone looked a little bit like this just before they press that go live button? They're just like petrified. Or maybe this is more of an accurate example of how we look. So yeah. Now I can see some questions coming through. I will get back to questions at the end, after the end of this presentation. But something happened to me. I ended up, quite a few years later, I set up a blog and Facebook Live became a thing. And I dabbled around with it, and I found that it was just really difficult to use. Facebook Live this was back in 2016. You had to use either your phone if you had an iPhone at the time, but most of us had to use this software called OBS Studio. Anyone remember OBS Studio? OBS Studio. So I wrote this article, and it ended up having over 5.7 million page views. It's all about how to broadcast to Facebook Live using OBS Studio. So I helped people use the technology and get confident with the tech. And then I realized that I could amalgamate my experience as a professional singer and the technology together. And that's what I do today. Basically, I help people with their confidence with the tech and with getting in front of the camera. But there was a problem. Okay, so I had to first of all get over my fear of live. I had to obviously show and demonstrate that I could go live. One problem is, for 1 month, I didn't go live for a whole month because my background, in my mind, I didn't feel that my background was exciting enough. And then I realized that actually it was an excuse, that I was just too scared to go live. And so I was using the tech as an excuse. I was worried about looking like an idiot. Anyone else feel like that? I was comparing myself to other people who were doing awesome jobs. I had imposter syndrome. I was a bit of a mess. Anyone else feel like that? Just looking at some comments. Oh, got Adrian. Salisbury's here. Great to see you, Adrian. And we've got some other comments, some more techie comments. So Ron Carr says, I'm afraid of starting a live broadcast because I'm not sure that I will be able to sustain it. That's a really good point. So yeah, you can start it, but it's keeping going. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. Yeah. So that is a big issue, keeping that sustainability, because the camera is an energy sucking device. It actually tends to suck the energy out of you. So there are things you can do to help. Okay, so what changed for me, and what I want to encourage you, that, you know, if it can happen to me, if I can make a change as somebody who was really lacking in confidence in front of the camera, it can happen to you. So now I've been able to create a consistent show on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube and Periscope. I've grown my YouTube channel. I've had amazing guests. I've had Glenn and Ken on the show, and founders of other live videos out there. I've got sponsorship to my show. Been able to get endorsement of companies. I've broadcasted hundreds of shows, which is amazing. And I've been able to repurpose my live shows into blog posts, podcasts, and do all that kind of stuff, which is amazing. Oh, apparently I'm writing a book at some point. We'll see about that. So awesome. Right. So what is stopping you? I want to hear from you guys whether you are struggling with any of these things, because I basically asked my audience a year ago, what are the main barriers to starting with live video? Now you can see the big word confidence there, getting started, consistency, equipment, figuring it out, all those kind of stuff. Yeah, tricky stuff. And so I kind of wanted to come up with some syndromes that I think we can all struggle with. So anyone identify with this? So just put this in the comments if you struggle with any of these. Come on, let's kind of be honest. I've allowed myself to be vulnerable, so you can too. So maybe you're an introvert and you're using that as an excuse to go live. I think it's a bit of a poor excuse. I'm an introvert, but yeah, okay. Comparison syndrome. You're comparing yourself to other people that are doing live videos, and you just think, well, I could never be like that person. Okay, that's maybe one thing. Or it could be you feel like an idiot getting in front of the camera. Maybe some disasters have happened. Anyone struggling with these? I can see Robin Forster says, figuring out the tech. We're going to talk about that in a minute. You don't like the way you look. Imposter syndrome. The technology excuse syndrome. Now, I'm not saying this is your issue, Robin, but sometimes we can use getting the tech sorted as an excuse not to go live. Perfectionism syndrome. I like to admit that I am a recovering perfectionist. Okay, so I think there are three main barriers to live video. We're going to focus on one of them today. One of them is the tech and gear. One of them is the confidence and fear. And the third one is content marketing sphere. I love the way they rhyme. So we're going to focus on confidence and fear today. Right, great comment here from Ron Carr. I will get back to comments a little bit later, but I just want to talk about this. Ron is saying, how on earth do you keep your train of thought while reading and responding to comments? Great question. Well, first of all, I think you should say to your viewers that you're not ignoring them. You will get back to comments a little bit later on, and then just have structure. Basically, it's down to structuring your show. So don't write word for word what you're going to be saying, but have a structure, have a plan of what you're going to say. So make point number one, then you can look at comments. Then point number two, look at comments, and do it that way. So just keep going back. But yes, it is easy to get distracted. The fact that I've got a presentation here really helps, because I know what I'm going to be talking about next. That's really cool. Fab. Okay. Right. So let's go on to the next one. Let's get the right button. Come on, button. Perfectionism syndrome. So this can be a big barrier for many of us because we want to make things look amazing and professional. So, and this was a big struggle for me. And this is why I love live video, because live video is a way to crush perfectionism syndrome, because it's all about just doing it and going live. And if things go wrong, people can forgive you. People will forgive you. So I want to share this with this amazingly accurate chart that I've spent many years researching. I've been slightly sarcastic there. So this is basically a bit of a graph, a chart, so that shows you how your confidence level is going to increase the more videos that you create. So you're going to start at the beginning with probably very low confidence, and also probably the quality isn't going to be that great, but you're starting. Over time, what do you notice that the graph does? It goes up. But it doesn't just go up. Sometimes it goes down a little bit and then up. It's a rocky road. And so you've got to start, but over time you will get more confident. You'll have some blips along the way, but they'll become better and more confident, which is cool. Yeah. This is why I think it's important to embrace the wrong. And when things go wrong, don't worry about them. So here's some examples. So my friend Janet Murray, at the end of one of her shows, this is a few years ago, she forgot to press the end broadcast button. This has happened to me. Has this happened to anyone else? You forget to press the end broadcast button and you keep on broadcasting. Well, she forgot to do that and she carried on eating her lunch, which happened to me. This is a very British thing. She was eating her crisp sandwiches, which translation, potato chip sandwiches. Happened to me. I forgot to end the show and I ended up talking to my guest. Thankfully, we didn't say anything too embarrassing. Or maybe it's happened to a client of mine. Her background fell down halfway through. Or maybe the cleaner comes in and starts emptying the trash. Or has this ever happened to you? Particularly at the moment, if you have kids working at home. Yes, my kids are downstairs. They're watching Netflix. It's okay. Yeah. So there we go. Yeah, that can happen. But do you know what? People love that. This is a great quote. Sorry, it's kind of cut off there if you're watching. But yeah, this is a quote from Philip Kotler, who says, marketers need to adapt to this new reality and create brands that behave like humans, approachable and likable, but also vulnerable. Brands should become less intimidating. They should become authentic and honest, admit their flaws, and stop trying to seem perfect. Anyone want to give an amen to that, or an amen? I definitely think that is a really cool quote, because people don't want perfect. So, some tips on how you can get confident with live video if you've never done it before or if you're just starting. Practice with Instagram stories. This is a really cool way to get started, because it's not live video, but they're quick and short. They're like 15 seconds long, showing your face. And what's the worst that's going to happen? Because they disappear after 24 hours and they will disappear into the ether, never to be seen again. So really good way. Oh yes, David Lawrence says, I can't wait to watch the rest of the replay. I have a 1:30. Lovely to see your approach, Ian. Can't wait to connect. Yeah, I'd love to chat to you again, David. It's been a while. So yeah, do keep the comments going. I can see that Michael says an amen, which is awesome. And yeah, if you've got any tech questions, I know Katie is on replying to any techie questions, but I will definitely get through to some techie questions at the end. Also, I'm very happy to share my thoughts on all the different platforms out there, all the different tools. I've got a lot of them installed on my computer. So start with Instagram Live. I've lost my button again. There we go. The other thing is just try to do a test broadcast. So you can do this on Facebook. Just pick up your phone, or you can do this on Ecamm Live. You can just change the privacy settings to only me. But a quick and easy way is just to get your phone, and just to do it that way, you can just select, go to your profile. It has to be your profile, not your page, and change the privacy settings to only me. So you can do it that way. This is a great way just to test your broadcast, which is awesome. I can see a couple of people watching on LinkedIn. I've just noticed this. Trying to not to get distracted by my comments. But Mary Brandt is watching from San Diego, and Dr. Joe North is here. So there we go. Cool. Great to see you guys. And also got Lissy from Norway as well, and Tim Sorn watching, which is great. So 3 things that you can do. 3 things that you can do, and that is to watch back that video that you created that live video. There's only going to be you watching it. The first thing that you need to do is come up with a constructive point. What did you do really, really well? So 3 things that you did really, really well on that broadcast. You need to treat yourself with respect. Then 3 things that you need to improve. So constructive things. And important to treat yourself like you would your clients. So watch yourself back, or even better, watch it with a friend, because your friend will not allow you to become negative, overly negative. So watch it with somebody else, and yeah, just be really constructive there, which is cool. Yeah, cool. What next? Right, I want to share with you my Confident Live warm-up formula, which I think is going to really help with confidence. Just before you press that go live button, these are some of the tips that I recommend that you do just to get yourself a bit more confident. So just going to go through some of the comments. I'm just going to go back to me here just to see what we've got. So we've got a few techie questions here, which is awesome. So stream keys and Facebook groups we've got there. But you shouldn't need to mess around too much with stream keys, because Ecamm Live does it all for you, which is great. Devora says, I thought Ecamm had to be on before going Facebook Live. I'm not quite sure what that question is, but I'm sure Katie will get back to you on that one. Yeah, Sarah Jones was saying, a test broadcast, good idea. Yeah, so I definitely recommend that. And actually, from a tech point of view, it's a really good thing just to go live, just to make sure that your tech is working, particularly your internet bandwidth. Do check your speed before you go live. I always check. I always recommend go to speedtest.net. Check your upload speed. I recommend having about 4 megabits per second up. You can cope with less. You can cope with about 2, but just good to have a bit of wiggle room, I think. Robin Forster says, think I have the echo problem with Zoom replay figured out. I'd love to know more about that. Is that with Zoom replay? Are you using Zoom with Ecamm? That's cool. I've got Mark from Puerto Rico's here. Some great comments. Fab. Excellent. Right, let's go back to this, the Confident Live warm-up formula. So, okay, right. So, this comes with 6 points. First of all, the first important thing that you need to do is relax your body. If you have any tension, particularly in your neck, that's going to cause a lot of tension and actually really affect your voice and your breathing. Second thing is posture. Third is breath control, pitch interest, diction and energy. That's a bit cut off. And then finally, heightened authenticity. What on earth is that? So, okay. So let's talk about relaxing your body. Okay, are you ready for this, guys? So you need to, this is going to be interactive. I'm going to feel a bit like Joe Wicks. If you've been watching in the UK, Joe Wicks has been live streaming to YouTube in the morning in the UK, and he had about 950,000 people watching him just doing these kind of mad exercises, getting kids fit in the morning. So first of all, arms and legs, I recommend stretching up to the ceiling for 7 seconds. Stretch up for 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then just shake them out like that. Shake them out, and then shake your legs. Jump up and down. You can see my Ecamm Live hoodie there, which is awesome. And then do the same backwards as well, and also forwards. So I'm not going to do that just for in terms of time. Then the next thing is to massage your shoulders. So look over to your left. I might be looking over to my right on the screen, but anyway, I am looking to my left. And then I'm going to massage my right shoulder there. My earphone's falling out, that's a bit annoying. And then you do the opposite way around. And I find that this really gets rid of any tension that I've got, and also in my neck as well. Massage your neck. Really important to relax your upper body so that your voice is nice and relaxed, and also it's going to help your breathing as well. So that's really important. So the next thing is posture. Posture. Do you sit down to do your lives? Okay, that's fine, but make sure you check your posture. I prefer to stand. It just keeps my energy levels going. But yeah, do check that. And remember to look at the camera. This is one of my big beefs really, because a lot of people end up looking at themselves. And if you're watching this live, you'll see I'm actually looking down, but I'm actually looking at myself at the moment. Not because I'm a narcissist, it's just as human beings, we're just built to focus on other people, including ourselves. So remember to look at the camera, and you need to train yourself to do that. But I would actually look through the camera. Imagine that your audience, your avatar, your favorite person is 12 inches behind the camera. So look directly through to the other side. And if it helps, just print out a picture of your favorite person and just put it behind the camera. It's a bit of a low-tech tip, but definitely works. Cool. And yeah, if you can stand, that's awesome. So I'm a big believer in what's called the noble position. This is just imagining that you're a very important person. Of course you are an important person. Just lengthen your spine, head up, tailbone down, shoulders back and down. Imagine that you're balancing a book on your head. Now you can't really see me here, but I am standing straight and I feel nice and relaxed. And the great thing about this is that my rib cage does feel nice and expanded as well. And that brings me on to breathing. So just very briefly on breathing, this is a little video here that I can play which shows your rib cage as you breathe in. So this person's breathing out. You can see the rib cage goes in, the diaphragm pushes up. I'm now going to breathe in now. Look what happens to my rib cage there. It expands. So put your hands just below, if I can show you, just below your bottom ribs, and then breathe in and then let it out to a hissing sound, which I won't do because the noise cancellation on my system will cut it out, so you won't be able to hear that. But just let it out to maybe a sound to relax and use your breathing properly, which is great. Definitely do that. Okay, cool. The next thing is pitch interest. Very briefly on this, have you ever watched anyone on a live video become really boring like this and speak on a monotone? So you want to keep a bit of interest in your voice. You want to go low, you want to go high like this. Obviously not too much, but you want to create a bit of interest. So there are some lip trill exercises that you can do. This is not singing, but you're just going to use the lows and the highs in your voice. So like this. So just go up from the low to the high. If you can't do that, just do another sound. It's just using the lows and the highs in your voice. Cool. Then there's diction. So this is coming up with tongue twisters to really use your teeth, your lips and your tongues, just so that people can really hear the words that you're speaking. So you can come up with tongue twisters. This is a silly song that I always like to do called Daddy's Got a Head Like a Ping Pong Ball. And you can practice this at home, and it's great to have a bit of fun with this as well. So this is, you probably can't see all the words there, but it goes to the tune of the William Tell Overture. And it goes like this. Daddy's got a head like a ping pong ball. Daddy's got a head like a ping pong ball. Daddy's got a head like a ping pong ball, like a ping pong ball. And then you can repeat it lots and lots of times. That gives you lots of energy. It ramps up your energy, gets your lungs working, and also just gets the diction really powered up, which is cool. Awesome. Right, let's keep going. Right, heightened authenticity. This is really important. This camera is an energy sucking device, and I think somebody mentioned earlier, as you keep going, you're going to find that your energy levels are just going to go down and down and down if you don't remind yourself of what you're doing and the energy as you go through. So keep reminding yourself of the people that are watching you and why you're doing this. You need to have a why, but also just remember about your breathing, and also imagine your energy levels are increasing as you're going through. That's really important. But there's a bit of a tip here. This is the heightened authenticity exercise. And just to practice a phrase at 5 different levels. We've got the one-to-one level, like you're speaking to somebody just in front of you, which obviously at the moment might be difficult with social distancing. Then it's speaking to a small group. Then speaking to a workshop. Then 4 to a video. And then 5, imagine you're doing a keynote at a big conference of 10,000 people. So I'm going to practice that at these different levels. So I'm going to say the phrase, level up your impact and authority using video. So imagine, I'm just going to imagine I'm speaking to somebody, just a good friend of mine in front of me. Level up your impact and authority using video. A small group would be, level up your impact and authority using video. A workshop would be, level up your impact and authority using video. Number 4 would be, level up your impact and authority using video. And number 5, if I was doing a keynote, it might be even more energy. Level up your impact and authority using video. And so I'm still being me. I'm still being Ian Anderson Gray, but I'm raising the energy levels each time, which is a really good way of practicing. Cool. So that is the Confident Live warm-up. If you've got any questions on confidence, let me know. But also, I would love to share some other ideas. And if you've got any questions for me to do with confidence or with tech or any other tools, happy to talk to you about how Ecamm Live compares with other tools, whether it's Wirecast or OBS Studio or BeLive or StreamYard, any of these tools, we can talk about that. That would be great. I'm just going to look through some comments. So, and I'd also love to know whether you feel that helps with your confidence, whether you're going to try some of those things yourself. That would be cool. I'm just checking on the other platforms as well. Great. Okay, cool. So let's have a look here. So Adrian Curran says, thank you for the tips on this live. I went live with Facebook Live, multi-camera angles, effective for showing both hands, went well. Awesome. So that sounds quite techie. You've got quite a good setup. I assume this is not your first one. So by multi-camera angles, I assume you've got more than one webcam going on there. That's one of the great things about Ecamm, is you can plug pretty much as many webcams as you want into your system. Currently, I'm just using a Canon M50 camera. I've got the pancake lens, the 22mm lens, and I'm plugging that via USB into my MacBook Pro using Ecamm, which is great. Okay, so Dean Reynolds says, am I using BeLive right now? No, I'm not. I'm using Ecamm Live, but I do use a number of tools at the same time. I mean, it's my job to learn about all the tools. I've written a big long article about this. I don't know whether Tonya, whether you're watching, if you could put a link to my mega article on the top, I can't remember either, it's the top live streaming tools for 2020 in the comments. That'd be awesome. And I compared all the well-known streaming tools such as Wirecast, OBS, vMix, Ecamm Live, all of them. I compared all of those. So, but I do sometimes combine Ecamm Live with StreamYard, and so, one of the great things about Ecamm Live is that you have this virtual webcam that you can output, and so you can actually use Ecamm Live in any other tool really that uses a webcam. You could use it in Zoom. In fact, I use it in Zoom all the time to bring in my Canon M50 into it, and I can add loads of extra stuff, which is cool. Okay, so Hubert Sanders says, what is the best way to show a keynote presentation? So yeah, what I do in Ecamm Live or whatever tool you're using is it's better if you have two monitors. So I've got two displays, but you don't need to do this. Just in Keynote, go to the presentation, go to the slides, and then in Ecamm you can then just change the settings to share your screen. So let's see if I can do this now. So you can see my green screen behind me. Where do I find this? So live demo mode. I've not really used live demo mode for a while. Let's see if I can do this. Is this going to work? Maybe I'm doing the wrong thing. Primary display. Can you see that okay? So let's just get rid of that. No, that's not working. Is it working? I don't know. Never a good idea to do this when you've done this for the first time. Yes, you can. I think you can see this. So basically, oh, thank you, Katie, for sharing that. So yes. So what I would do here is in the display options, you can. So I'm actually currently sharing my primary display, but I could change the application. So I could then change that to, for example, I'm using Microsoft PowerPoint. You would choose Microsoft, you'd use Keynote, so Apple Keynote for that, and then you can just share it on your screen. Now what I've done here, let me just get out of live demo mode. So if I now go back to this screen, and if I just go back, what I've done here is I've just added an overlay here. So basically I've used Photoshop to put the background and then just cut out a transparent box for my presentation, and I've also cut out a transparent circle for me, and then I imported it into Canva because I like Canva, and I did extra bits on there. So that's one way if you want to make it a little bit more cool, but you don't need to do that. So yeah, just keep it simple. Keep it simple, and then over time you can add some more WYSIWYG stuff. Adrian says, "Oh yeah, guitar lessons, cool. So you're teaching guitar lessons. How do you find the audio quality with that? Is that working well for you?" Yeah, Dean, I think I've added that. How did you create the graphics? So I've used Photoshop and Canva. I just like to create a bit more interest in my shows, but honestly, you don't need to have the graphics like this. I think really the big thing that I would recommend is investing in a nice camera. Before that, a microphone. I think audio is probably the most important thing. People can't hear you very well. People are going to switch off, and then I would invest in a nice camera. I'm using the Canon M50. Which is cool. So it says, so Devora says, when will you offer some awesome yoga green screen background settings to your collection? I'm interested to know what you mean by that. So in Ecamm, there are some built-in backgrounds which are really, really cool for green screens. So let me just play around with some of those. So this is my, I kind of don't know if I want to change this because I'm probably going to lose my normal setting, but I could be by the beach, which is very nice. Modern house, you can have loads of these different things. What's that? Oh, that's the beach we were at last year in Sardinia. Very, very nice. I think I've lost my background. Bricks. There we go. That's the one. Bricks. So cool. Yeah. So yeah, you can add any backgrounds you want. You could just add any images or videos in there. Okay, so yes, somebody says Hubert. So I've already done that one about the Keynote file. When will you offer a beauty filter to Ecamm? Devora says. Yes. So Katie has replied, not currently in our queue, but you can use Snap Camera. So yes, you can download Snap Camera. It's from Snapchat. Just download it onto your computer, and basically it's a virtual webcam, which is awesome. So basically, I do have Snap Camera somewhere on my system. I've not used it for ages, so I don't want to mess around. But basically, it allows you to add filters, and it's really easy to use actually. And you can use that in Ecamm Live, which is great. And also, Katie says that this is exporting. So this is for your presentation, whether it's PowerPoint or Keynote. You can export it as a PDF as long as it doesn't have any like videos or any kind of animation in it. Download it as a PDF. And Ecamm Live actually has inbuilt PDF embedding, so you can actually go through your PDF on the screen. Works really, really well. Really easy to flow through, so I would definitely recommend that. And Devora says, yes, ask the question, Snap Camera can be used live. Absolutely, yes. You just have that running in the background, and it works really well. I've not used that for a while. Great. Okay. So... what would you recommend for pastors to go live? Jason Taylor says. So this really depends. So this is a question obviously for churches going live. I've talked about this a lot on my channel. So if you go to facebook.com/IAGDOTME, that's /IAG.me, you can find out a little bit about that. And yeah, I've got a guide, by the way, on my website. Tonya, if you're watching, if she's not, I will add this later. Tonya's my assistant. Could you put the confidence guide in the comments? That'd be awesome, because I think that's going to really help. Because the big problem is yeah, you might be okay speaking to a congregation, but if you're speaking in an empty church, or if you're speaking from home and you don't have your congregation in front of you, it's actually quite demoralizing and disconcerting, because you don't have that energy and you don't have the people in front of you. So a few things. First of all, you could use Zoom to go live, or don't even bother with live streaming. Just say to if you've got a small gathering, a small church, then just start a Zoom call and just everyone can come in and you can actually see their faces. So that's one option. Another option is to use Ecamm Live, so to stream to either Facebook or YouTube, and with that you can. That's great because you can bring in other people in via Skype. So you could have somebody doing the reading, the prayers, and bring them in. Or you could use a combination of tools. So what we did at our church service, we used Ecamm Live and StreamYard together, and multiple different tools out there. But keep it simple. You could even just go live from your phone. But Ecamm Live is great from that point of view. It's really, really simple, and it gives a really good high quality format. which is great. Drazen Starter says, what are you using to make questions appear in such a cool graphic overlay? Is this your tech assistant helping you out? No, this is totally Ecamm Live. So let me see if I can go back to where's it gone again? I've lost it. Live demo mode, which is, there is a shortcut for that. I will get over to that. So cool. So I don't even need to do that, do I? I think I can go there. Can you see this? So on the right hand there, I can just switch on and off the comments like this, and I can even edit these and change it. So I'm using my font, which is the alternate Gothic #2, and I put a background on there. This works really well for me. So yeah, that's totally Ecamm that does that, which is great. Cool. Yeah, so thanks Katie. Yeah, so and the other great thing about Ecamm Live is that it saves you've got the option to save the video for later, so you get a really high quality format for later, which is great. So yeah, I don't know whether anyone's got any other questions just before I finish. I'm happy to talk about how Ecamm Live compares with other tools. Maybe one thing that I will do is I will just go back here. You can see this, and I'm going to load up. This is a bit of a trip down memory lane. I'm going to load up OBS Studio. Anyone used OBS Studio? Right, here we go. Here's OBS Studio. So, okay. So OBS Studio is a free tool. It's certainly not for beginners. The good thing about OBS, it works for Macs and PCs. But it works pretty okay on PCs. I found it's a bit sluggish on Macs. One of the great things about Ecamm Live is that the guys have really optimized it for the Mac. I mean, Macs aren't really known for their kind of their live streaming capabilities, but the guys at Ecamm have just done an amazing job, and it's actually come to the point when I actually recommend that people will get a Mac just to use Ecamm Live because it is so simple to use. So you've got the ability to, I can bring in, I can add, for example, a video capture device here, otherwise known as a webcam, I think. There we go. So I can add in my FaceTime camera. OBS would like to access the camera. There you go. So that's me in OBS. So I can add myself in OBS there. And then I can then push that live. Now, if I want to publish this to Facebook, what I need to do is click on settings. I need to go to stream. I need to go to Facebook Live, and I need to enter in my stream key, which I need to get. Basically, what needs to happen here is you need to create the live show on Facebook, and then Facebook will then give you the stream key, which you then have to paste in here. It's a bit of a pain. So anyway, that's how it works on OBS Studio. Any other questions about OBS Studio, let me know. But the other issue with OBS, although it's really customizable and you can do some really techie things, really geeky things, it's also free, which is cool. You can't highlight comments on the screen. Let me just go back to this. You can't highlight comments on the screen, and you can't let me just get rid of that. You can't highlight comments on the screen, and you can't bring in guests very easily. You actually have to bring them in via Skype or Zoom, and then capture the window. And on a Mac, you also have to get some extra software to listen to, for OBS to be able to hear that guest as well. So yes, Devorah says, I don't like OBS. I have some, I don't know, I kind of do like OBS in a geeky way, but it's not for the faint-hearted. And certainly for bringing in guests on a regular show like I do, it's just not something I want to do. So Matty says, how does Ecamm Live work with Twitch? So, yes, I think this might be a question for Katie, but basically, and the great thing about Ecamm Live is that you can basically stream to whatever platform you want. It's got RTMP, so even things like Mixer. I've never actually gone live to Mixer. There's other things out there as well, but you can basically stream to whatever you like as long as you can put in the RTMP details. Katie, remind me, does Ecamm Live have Twitch built in. I've never actually streamed directly to Twitch from Ecamm Live. What I've done is I have streamed to Restream. So there's a service called Restream, which is cool, and Ecamm Live has full integration with that. And then in Restream, you can stream to Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitch, all at the same time, which is pretty good. So yeah, Katie says you can broadcast out to Twitch, which is cool. Devore says, why does Ecamm stream to Facebook profile only and does not offer the choice of a group? So actually, Ecamm Live allows you to broadcast to pretty much anywhere. I mean, you can go live to your profile, your Facebook profile. You can change the privacy settings on that. You can go live to your page, and you can go live to your groups as well. So you can do absolutely all of those things, and many people do. If they have a community on Facebook, you can totally do that. And Katie has given that there at the bottom. So there's a link there that shows you how to do it. Where can we find out more to how to combine Ecamm Live with Zoom? So I'll be interested to know, Jason, what you're wanting to do there. Are you wanting to bring in guests onto that? What you could do very easily is just have Zoom open and then just share that app as a screen share. And Ecamm Live will do that really easily. The only thing you've got to be concerned about is whether your Mac can cope with running all those applications at the same time. I've got a pretty powerful MacBook Pro, and at the moment I'm actually running I'm running Adobe Audition for the podcast, and I'm running Ecamm Live and quite a few other things at the same time. So yes, it is possible, but yeah, I'll be interested to know what you're trying to do there. Yeah, Philip says OBS is cool, but it's not user-friendly and a huge RAM hog. So yes, it does. Basically, if you want to hear your Mac sounding like it's taking off into orbit, run OBS Studio on a Mac. He also says, what about TikTok? What about TikTok? I don't know what you mean. Great. Can you have multiple profiles, Matty says. So is that multiple Facebook profiles that you want to stream to? Good question. If that is what you're asking, I don't know whether it is. Great. Okay, so any other questions here? Can you go live? So Philip says, can you go live to different platforms at once? For example, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram Live. So I'll answer that final point first, because Instagram Live is a special case. At the moment, there is no legitimate way to go live to Instagram Live. The only way you can do it is through the mobile app. The official Instagram app is the only way you can broadcast to Instagram Live. There are some hacky ways out there. I've not looked into them that much, because basically it goes against Instagram's terms and conditions. And if you want to get potentially suspended or banned from Instagram, then you use those tools. But I would definitely recommend not doing that. So Instagram, though, I would treat that in a different way. I'd actually go live after your main live video to Instagram. But yes, you can totally go live to Facebook and YouTube. So Ecamm Live only allows one stream at one time at the moment, but we'll see what happens in the future. But you could use other tools, other services like Restream to do that for you. So you can broadcast to Restream, which that's one option, or you can output to a tool like StreamYard and do it that way. So I would probably, if you want to broadcast to more than one, I would check out Restream, and I know the guys will do some amazing jobs in the future. Oh, so Philip says, will Ecamm Live broadcast to TikTok? No. So TikTok is not currently a live streaming platform. It only has the ability for stories and posts and things like that. So yeah, and Katie quite rightly says, so it's not just Restream, there's also other services out there. So Ecamm Live has full integration with Restream and Switchboard Live. So the way that could work for you is, let me just see if I can load up my browser and just show you how that could work. So let's just get it over here and share my screen. Hopefully you can see that. So let's just go to Restream. I just happen to have a Restream account, so I can show you this. I seem to have an error on YouTube, which is not good. So I'm currently not streaming to Restream, but if I started streaming from Ecamm Live to restream, the my video would appear here, and then I can start streaming to Twitch, to Periscope, to VK, whatever that is, a Russian network, LinkedIn, and you can also add all these extra channels here. So there's Mixer, Daily Motion, all these kind of things. So it's really easy to do. And once so basically it's just a case of switching these on and you're live, which is awesome. So that's how you do that. Cool. Well, I think that is it. I think I'm going to. We're nearly an hour in, so I think unless you have any other questions, I'm happy to obviously come back and answer your questions in the comments, and I will do that. But yes, it'd be great if you could check out my podcast at iag.me/podcast. It's the Confident Live Marketing Podcast. I've also got loads of guides. I've got a guide on confidence, a checklist as well, and a tech and gear. So I'll put those in the comments in a bit. That would be cool. And also check out my blog at iag.me. I've got loads of posts and articles all on how to become more confident, but also some tech ones with the tools and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's cool. Just a few other things here. Dean says you should make your PIP transparent. That would eliminate the green. I did do that. So is that not working at the moment on... Oh, not on that. Yes, but it is working on that. Yeah, I forgot to do that. Good point. I could do that, and then I can make it transparent like that. That's what I mean. And then I can zoom in to get rid of the background. There we go. Cool. Excellent. Awesome. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. So much information. Rob Carr says, yeah, there's a lot of information there. So definitely check out that, the podcast. And I can also see that Tonya is very kindly putting in the other guides there. So we've got the tech guide there. That's my podcast. And there's also the confidence guide there. But cool. Right. But until next time, I encourage you all to level up your impact, authority, and profits using the power of Confident Live Video. See you soon. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Confident Live Marketing Podcast with Ian Anderson Gray. Be sure to join the community at iag.me, where you can continue to level up your impact, authority, and profits through the power of live video. And until next time, toodaloo.